Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and this is Nomalanga Mushali Moses, founder of HealthyBlackWoman.com. How you doing today, Noma?
I'm doing great, boys. How are you?
I'm doing really well, and you've been writing these really great articles that I think people should take a look at. And one article that you put on Healthy Black Woman that has been read by a lot of people. 30, 40, 50,000 people, something like that, is about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Let me make sure I say that right. And in the title, which I always say, you always have these titles that just catch the eye. It says Will Smith says marriage to Jada has had stormy days and died, and you put stormy days in quotes and died in quotes, and that's really interesting. You know uh, that they're sort of being so open about their marriage and their relationship, and it seems like a lot of people are really learning from this relationship, or either they think it's weird, or they're curious about it, or they're emulating it. I don't know. Um, what do you think there was about this article that got so much attention?
I think it's actually very telling about the world that we live in right now. I have a feeling that a lot of the people that clicked on the article, when they saw that he said that the relationship had died, they assumed that that death was the end of the relationship. Which again is part of the reason why a lot of people don't make it in the long run in terms of relationships, because they don't understand that you do keep starting over and over in that relationship, starting afresh, tweaking it, making it better, making new adjustments, and so forth. So that was really telling. And I like the way that he put it out there. And he said that it was very stormy, meaning there's a lot of conflict, and maybe some people thought they were going to fall out. But they're still together is the most important part to me. And so that is very telling that, the boat rocked. At some point, it seemed like it was over, but they found a way to renew it and keep going and make it stronger.
Yeah, it seems that every couple of months there's this huge rumor that they're going to get a divorce, and and you almost wonder if it's more than a rumor, because in many cases you'll see all these signs that something's kind of happening. But then, a few days later they'll come out and they'll issue a statement saying, we're stronger than ever, everything's great. But it seems that in these statements, about their marriage having died, that they're almost saying, yeah, we've hit rock bottom several times, but each time something dies, if you're committed, something else can be reborn, and you continue with your commitment to each other and to the marriage. But maybe certain things have changed form. But is that kind of what you're getting from that? Oh, by the way, your audio's down.
I said absolutely. Sorry about that. I said absolutely. I've only been married 10 years, and to me, that's a short time because my parents have been married 40 years, and of course, uncles, aunts, even longer than that. So, one thing that I am realizing is the longer amount of time that goes, the more you realize that little things really are little things. And life goes on, the marriage goes on, and it doesn't have to end because of those things. But not everybody gets to that realization. And again, and I reiterate, when he says it has died, I believe he meant that they got to the point where they thought, okay, this is over. And you do get to that point, and then you have to start again and make a new kind of create a new understanding of what's going to happen going forward. Okay, this is what we did wrong, and this is what created the death. Let's salvage what was good, keep moving, and then let's do something new, and make it better. And I think they do that over and over again. And these are people, mind you, who live in Hollywood. And I've always said that Hollywood is where marriages and families go to die. Because if you want to ruin your marriage, take it to Hollywood. It will surely die. But of course, they're an anomaly, and I think that's one of the reasons why we love watching them. But another thing that I wanted to say is you have to keep paying attention to the things that they say. They'll say, no, we're okay. No, we're okay. And you will find that the people who are saying they're not okay don't understand that there is conflict and life goes on, marriage goes on. They see a bit of conflict, and because in their lives, when there's conflict, things fall apart and never get put back together, when they see conflict in other people's lives or in other people's marriages, they assume that that means it's the end, and it's not.
Interesting. Well, it definitely seems that that for some people, we might want to really think about what the word commitment really means. Commitment doesn't mean I'm going to do it until it gets really uncomfortable, or I'm going to do it until I just get tired of doing it, or until something goes wrong, or until something unexpected happens. Your commitment means doing what you said that you've committed yourself to doing, right? And I always go back to what my father said. My father's been married for 40 years, and when I ask him the secret to staying married 40 years, he always gives the same answer. He says, "I didn't get divorced." And it's crazy. It's almost a circular, logical kind of response, but sometimes that simple logic really is all you need. That's stop making things complex. Stop thinking that you're going to enter into a marriage and have nothing unexpected come up, or have nothing come up that's really going to absolutely devastate the heck out of you and disappoint you. Just realize that that's probably going to happen, and it almost seems to me that maybe if people think of it that way, it doesn't mean that all commitments are going to work, but it might mean at the very least that people will think through commitments before they make them, because it's gotten to the point where it's hard to take marriage seriously in a lot of cases. In the U.S. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm getting married," and "Oh, how long have you known each other?" "Oh, 3 months, but we really love each other, and I think so and so's great." Okay, well, good for you. But okay, I gotta spend all this money and go to this ceremony and get dressed up and give you a gift, and then you tell me a year later you're divorcing because you're mad about some issue that could easily be resolved if you both actually cared about your marriage more than you care about getting what you want. I just think that the word commitment is something that people really don't understand. I mean, I think that people, they talk about, like, we had this story up the other day about this couple that have been married for 75 years or something, which is, holy cow, that's amazing. And people are like, "Oh, they're so wonderful, they're so sweet, what a great man, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, yeah, but you have no idea what this couple probably had to go through to stay devoted to each other or to remain in this marriage for 75 years. How many, mental contortions they had to go through in order to psychologically commit themselves to doing something that they didn't have to do for all that time. So that's the thought I have. The other thing that was interesting about your article is, Jada made a quote about opening up her definition of what it means to have will in her life. And she says, "We used to have all these rules, but as you go in your relationships, or in your relationship, you just get into a flow. Will to me encompasses everything. It's almost as if calling him my husband is too small of a word for what he means in my life. I think I had a very stuck idea of what a husband looks like, what a wife should be. Once I broke all of that, a whole new world opened for me, and man, oh man, I got to see him in all his glory. And that's what it's evolved into. I'm just ecstatic about it." What I really like about that quote is I just love this idea that that she's expanded her mind. She hasn't sort of tried to put her life, her relationship, and her man in this neat little prepackaged box that she built when she was 7. And because you see that you'll see some people who will say, and it's not just women, not just men, it's just weird people who will just kind of enter a marriage thinking, okay, this is the way I've envisioned it. This is what you're supposed to look like. This is what you're supposed to do. These are the rules you're supposed to have. This is the procedure. And to some extent, it almost seems to me that you're really taking that word commitment, and you're multiplying it by 1,000 by putting these iron chains on the person that you're with, and kind of chopping off the pieces of their spirit and their personality that don't fit with your predetermined plan. And then you wonder why both of you are unhappy, miserable, and uncomfortable, because you fit yourselves into this little box that isn't shaped to who you really are, right? So it almost seems that Jada, I'm actually hearing the things Jada's saying, and I'm saying, wow, she might be a decent wife. I don't know. I wouldn't marry Jada, but but she seems pretty cool, because it seems like she's kind of saying, look, this is Will. I married Will. I didn't marry Will expecting Will to be what I needed him to be. I married him because I love who he is, and as long as he doesn't beat me and or do something crazy, I'm riding with Will. We're together. We're a partner. He accepts me for what I am. I accept him for who he is, and we just live. And I think that's kind of neat. What do you think?
I wholeheartedly agree. And when I read that quote, I wanted to clap for her because that is really a great attitude to have. When you give, and not just in marriage, in general, raising kids, being around other people, when you give them freedom, that is one of the best things that you can do for a person. It's just giving them freedom to grow, to change, to evolve, and not put all these expectations that are self-serving on them. And that's not fair because funny thing is no one wants that happening to them, but we tend to do it to other people. So one of the things that you do have to do in your mind is reset it in a way that you just commit to giving another person the freedom, the space, and the comfort of knowing that you're there no matter what. They can be what they want to be. They can evolve. They can change, grow, whatever. And you're going to be there as their supporter, as their encourager, as their partner. And that's it. And I found that marriage works best when you look at it that way. And you look at it as an ongoing negotiation. You know, people change, things change, circumstances change, you grow, you get older. If you ask me what I thought when I was 25 about marriage, it's completely different than what I know now. And maybe 10 years from now, it'll have changed again. And that's okay. It's just a continuing negotiation as long as everybody is concerned about the other person and they support them, encourage them, and really, really be on their side instead of on the opposing side. And that it'll work. But the thing is, we tend to fall off of that mindset. And I see it happen over and over and over. As soon as you focus on yourself, you're on the path to self-destruction. What you're not getting, what the other person not doing for you, and so on and so on. You're on the path to destruction. If you're on the path of, okay, he's growing, he's developing, or she's growing, she's developing, and I'm going to let her or him know what I need and trust them to give it to me, that's a different approach than you better this, that, or else. You know?
Wow, that's a heavy word you use, trust. I mean, I think that's one of the issues. A lot of relationships don't begin with a broad range of trust that allows, and I'm not talking about trust as far as somebody cheating on you. I'm talking about trust, emotional trust that that if I just do the right thing by you, if I do my absolute best to be devoted to you and to do what's best for you, that you're going to return the favor. I think a lot of people have a short or itchy trigger finger or a short trip switch for shutting down their own trust when they see that trust has, or that goodwill has not been reciprocated. Right? I was nice to so and so for 2 weeks, and they treated me like crap. So I'm not going to be nice anymore, which is only going to make them treat me even more like crap, which is going to lead to the eventual dissolving of this relationship. Right? It seems that bridge of trust has to be strong. It has to be very consistent. And it has to be something that's really shaped and based on who you are as a person. Like, I'm going to be a good, loving, kind person, no matter which person you're choosing to be this week. And I think that's tough. That's hard to do, right? Because you can end up feeling like a sucker, right? Am I in the ballpark here?
Yes, but let's go back to the beginning. We said commitment, right? You're committing to do something. Okay, it's not a contract. It's not a purchase of you give me, then I give you. Although, of course, there's give and take. But it's a commitment to do what you said you were going to do regardless. Regardless. That's it. Regardless. It doesn't matter what you do or don't do. I made a commitment to do what I said I was going to do, and you keep doing it and keep doing it. And, I'm not a marriage expert. But one thing I will say is, and again, it's not just with marriage, with human beings in general. When you continue to do what you said you were going to do, if they go off course and don't do, but if you continue to just do what you said you were going to do, you find that they come right back into line and do what they said they were going to do. But if you react to what they're doing, then it's just gonna be this horrible reaction that gets worse and worse. And we're all subject to it because we're human beings. You catch me on a bad day, I'm gonna react and so forth. But I wanted to say one more thing about trust, which I found is I learned is something that is very, very misunderstood. People think that trust is something that people have to earn. See, I bet you thought so too. You don't earn trust. Okay, you give people trust, and they have the choice to work their way out of it or keep it. So you just wholeheartedly trust a person until they show you that they're not trustworthy. Then maybe you can dial it back a little bit. But people usually wait first and choke up their trust first and let me see first and all this other stuff. And you're never really trusting a person. So you're treating them like they're untrustworthy and they're not worthy of your trust. So of course they're going to also behave that way. It doesn't work necessarily in any other place except in relationships, I find. You have to trust a person before they even earn it or deserve it. And it's up to them to either keep it or work their way out of it.
Wow, those great words, excellent words of wisdom. And in case people are wondering if Noma is qualified to say what she has said, I think 10 years of marriage to a great husband and two beautiful kids is that qualifies you to say a lot. So she's not.
Thank you.
So you're not one of those people on TV who has never been married, who's given all kinds of marital advice, or who's never had a child, who's given advice on child rearing. You're somebody who actually knows, not just from your expertise, but also from experience. So those are great words. Thank you, Noma. I appreciate
Thank
everything you
you.
said. And everybody who's watching, thank you for checking us out. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and this is Noma Langamushali Moses from HealthyBlackWoman.com. And the title of her article, and I'm going to find this title here real quick, is Will Smith says marriage to Jada has had stormy days and died. So I encourage you to take a look at that article when you get a chance, because I think that we can all kind of learn from just seeing how different people are able to successfully do the thing that some of us are trying to do on our own. And I also encourage you to think against the grain, go outside the box. Don't do what everybody else is doing, because then you'll just get what everybody else is getting, and that's not what you want. Everybody, you take care, and God bless, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.